Welcome to the Bluffton Biblecast. This episode is part of a special series that deviates from our regular Bible reading plan. In fact, it is totally different. Each episode in this series will interview a Ukrainian family who is currently living in Bluffton and attending our AC churches. The language barrier can make it tough to have conversation at church, and we hope these interviews will provide you with the opportunity to get to know them just a little bit. We also hope that you will find their stories interesting, appreciating their past, and empathizing with their current challenges. And in doing this, we hope you will find a place of common ground with them, and that by listening, you will be inspired to welcome, love, pray for, and engage these families. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Stephanie Kipfer, and today we are at our recording studio with Katya and Slavic, and we also are on a Zoom call with Benjamin, a friend of theirs, who's going to be translating. So let's get started with our conversation. Slavic and Katya, would you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Мы семья из Украины. Жили в Луганской области, город Северодонецк, до войны.
So we're family from Ukraine. Before the war, we were living in the Lugansk region, Severodonetsk city. We had a ministry in the church, and we lived a usual life.
So tell us who all is in Bluffton with you right now.
Рита, у нас есть дочь Рита и наша мама Лариса.
They have mom Larissa, and they have a daughter. The daughter name is Rita. The full name Margarita.
Very good. Thank you. Now, who are you living with in Bluffton?
Мы живем в хорошей семье, Дерека и Стефани Кифер.
So we're living in the family Stefan and Derek Kipfer, and they have 3 kids, and this is the big house. And also they have a dog. Her name is Bella.
Yes, it has been a joy to have you guys live in our house.
Да, мы благодарим семью.
So we are very grateful that we're living in Derek and Stephanie house, that they are open their hearts to let us live in your house.
Thanks. It's reciprocated. So next question. Katya, would you tell us about your job that you did in the Ukraine?
В Украине я работала в салоне оптики.
So in Severodonetsk, I worked in the shop selling glasses, and I was helping people with eyeglasses.
And Slavic, how about you? What did you do in the Ukraine?
Я работал
I've been working in the advertisement agency, promotion, and so also I had a ministry in the church with young people, and also we have a personal brand. It's named Happy People. The main purpose is sharing the gospel through this brand.
So living together, obviously we get to be a part of your lives and experience life together, and it's been very obvious to us that Christ is an active part of your life and the Holy Spirit is with you. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey of faith?
До встречи с Богом я 6 лет употреблял наркотики.
How I came to Christ in 2006. Before this year, I've been a drug addiction. I was in trouble, and it was one group of people who was walking on the streets and giving visit cards. And I was one of the person whom they came and gave me this card and invited me to the church. So the first time when they came, I wasn't ready just to accept Jesus or go to church. But somehow this circumstances was changed. I was on the bottom, and I had decided to go to rehab center. So in the rehab center, God touched my heart and changed my heart forever. So plus He gave me a desire to help other people and serve other people.
Сначала я тоже так ходил по улицам.
From the very beginning, we were walking on the streets and we were looking at the same guys who was in the drug addiction. So then I started to serve young people in church. I started to do some interesting projects to interact young people to church. This is how brand Happy People was created.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Katya, do you want to tell us how long you've been a Christian?
Верю я с самого детства. Я всегда молилась Богу. Что прям
So I
сильно
was from the
уверовать.
childhood. I was a believer, and then in 2016 when I met with Slavic, so he led me to Christ.
Very good. So I think it's important for our listeners to understand that your life in the Ukraine was very similar to our life here. But why don't you tell us about an average day in the Ukraine before the war?
У нас был обычный день, мы просыпались,
So
собирали
we had an average
детскую
life. We woke up, bring our daughter just to school, then we come back, and then we started to work.
Yes, very much like we live now. So thanks for sharing that. So, do you want to tell us anything about your war experience in the Ukraine?
В тот момент, когда начались первые взрывы, мы сразу пошли в убежище.
So when the war started in 24th of February, we recently came to the basement. So in neighbor district, we had a basement under a house. So we got to this basement and we were waiting for these shellings. And some of the guys were leaving. They live in the basement, and they didn't came back because some of them was killed.
What part of Ukraine were you from? How close was it to the Russian border?
Мы самые ближние к России.
We are so close to the border to Russia. Is the east of Ukraine. Before the war, it was 60 kilometers from the front line.
So you saw action pretty quickly. The war came to your city very quickly.
Ну да, мы не успели даже
Yeah, it was very fast. We wasn't expected. It was very quick.
So you didn't come to America until September 28th. So tell me about your time from February 24th to September 28th. How did you get from your city to Bluffton, Indiana?
Мы выехали из Украины 19-го.
So we left Ukraine 19th of March to Poland. We've been sitting in this school for 1 week, and then we understood that it's dangerous, and they offered us just to leave the city because it was dangerous.
Там рядом взорвали садик.
10 meters or pretty close. Was the kindergarten was bombed very close to us. So this is because we decided just to leave the city because it was dangerous around.
Это на самом деле было как фильмы снимают, боевики.
It looked like the action movie, but it was in real life. It was very scared.
Yes, I can't imagine.
So since 19th of March, we went to Poland, one of the Catholic church. This priest, he had a big house, and he let us to live in this house, plus 4 families lived also with us.
Who left the Ukraine with you? It was the two of you and Rita and Larissa. Were there other people who left with you?
Ну, вообще мы выехали 19-го, когда мы выехали.
9th of March, just 3 of us left, me, Katya, and Rita. So when Larissa's apartment was bombed, we called to them, and they just very quick take your stuff and go away.
Мы договорились с одной церковью, чтобы их
We
вывезли.
agreed with a local church to help them out of the city. So they were following the same road that we follow. The road was from Severodonetsk to Dnipro, from Dnipro to another city, from this city to Lviv. Lviv is pretty close to the Poland border, and then from Lviv through the border to Poland. And they crossed the border on the train to Poland directly.
Они когда ехали на поезде,
So when they were in the train, it was so many people inside, and it wasn't even enough space to sit.
И в то время было опасно
It
ехать,
was
постоянно
also
взрывали.
dangerous to drive on the train because some of the railway station was bombed too.
When you were driving on the roads, were they dangerous?
нет, мы с Днепра ехали на маршрутке, на автобусе.
So Slavic left on the bus, so it was 30 miles traffic jam, and one of our friends they showed us the another road which is leading through the fields. So it was big jams on the road, and people many people wanted to leave their cities.
So people would just abandon their cars on the road to keep moving?
No, people were waiting in the cars, and they just were waiting their turn to move forward because it was big. They were staying in the lines, big lines, so many hours on the road.
Скажи, что с Украины люди в Польшу
Instead
по
of
5
one
дней.
day moving to Poland, it took 5 days to get from Ukraine to Poland. With God's help, we were praying, and God revealed us just another world, and we were able just to cross the border very quick.
So thankful for that. Slavic, where are your parents today?
Они сначала были с нами в Польше, потом они...
So, like the few months they've been living with us in Poland, but 1 month they just went back to the city, which is occupied right now. They have a like countryside outside of the city. They have a village. Right now they live there.
Yes, your parents are living in the Ukraine. Well, it's actually Russia right now.
Yeah, right. Occupied. Yes, occupied Russia. So they're living like a kind of in the forest. It's like safety. There is no danger, no shellings.
I know that was a hard and tearful time in your life, but thanks for sharing your experience. It helps us all to understand a little bit more what you've gone through. So tell us, what do you miss the most about the Ukraine?
Северодонецк.
Severodonetsk.
Your city
Home.
was beautiful. Home.
Home,
И people.
people, home, church.
People, home.
It was a lot to give up.
Но мы понимаем, что это не вернуть, и мы продолжаем жить.
We understand that we cannot give it back. We keep going. Still, life is going on.
So you're in the United States now. What has been something that has surprised you? Good, bad, different than you expected?
Ну, неожиданно было то, что здесь люди не ходят пешком.
So unexpected was that people don't walk here at all. So too many pedestrians in Ukraine.
I think we talk about this often, don't we? People in America don't walk anywhere.
Ну, меня удивило то, что здесь...
I was surprised that many people drink the cold water like with ice.
You would drink hot or room temperature water, correct?
So we usually drink the room temperature water.
Еще меня удивило...
People surprise me, very open, hospitable, smiling, very kind.
Ну и самое, что меня удивило, это то, что люди
It's very
открывают
like
свои...
amazing that people open their house. So those people whom they never met before, it's also very like incredible.
Through God's grace, right?
Yes.
So tell me what your favorite American food has been.
Гамбургер.
Чизбургер.
Hamburger, cheeseburger.
That's what I would have guessed. So when you're at church, how can our church members get to know you better? What was something that they could do to make you feel welcome, or maybe tell them about an app that works well?
Ну, к нам в церкви подходят люди разные.
Many people in church come to us. They're like first time. They greeting us, saying hi. Also, I start to come to people and have a conversation. So we were surprised that it's a very big church.
So for the listeners, Slavic, Katya, and our family, we use the app Say Hi Translate by Amazon. And so if you would like to have a more in-depth conversation with them at church, they always have their phones. You can always pull it out and download that app, and it works really well.
Благодаря этому предложению мы можем
Yeah,
общаться.
thanks. Through this app, we can talk to people.
Very thankful for the app. So our church body is listening to this podcast. Is there anything that they can do specifically to encourage you?
Помогите нам сделать право.
Help us to do the driving license.
Just a quick note for our listeners. We've had some legal issues with the driver's license, and it's been a discouragement and a difficulty to overcome, but there'll be probably more information coming out about maybe how you can help us with legislation moving forward so that we can encourage our Ukrainian friends to get a driver's license and allow them to do that through the laws. So the war and coming to America, it's been a lot of life changes. Can you tell us, has this encouraged your faith? Has it been a struggle with your faith? Just tell us about your faith journey during this time.
Ну, меня укрепило, потому что я понимаю, что с
So the
Богом мир
war
в сердце. Несмотря на то,
build
что
my faith more, and I trust God more, and I believe that God will manage and handle all the situation, and Ukraine will got the victory.
То есть то, что мне раньше казалось, делает
So
меня счастливым,
Slavic's faith grew up like strengthened, and he started to believe God more. So the war gave us opportunity to spread our fields of serving people, the area where we can like serve more people. So when Bible says that God turned everything into good. So for the first time, you can see for this breakup, this is like everything is like bad. But when you go through and look back, you see it's like how God is provide and go through the situations, and He like led you through, and is like very very amazing what God is doing.
и скажи, что не нужно привязываться к
So
материальным
don't
вещам,
connect your heart with material things, because for God, all of this stuff is like a dust, is a trash. Any time it can be thrown away, disappeared.
Thank you for sharing your journey of faith. It's been very inspiring to watch and faith building from my end. So, as a church, how can we be praying for you?
чтобы Бог продолжал двигать нас туда, где Он нас видит, чтобы
Help us
помогал
us
развивать.
just to lead our ministry here. That let God help us in this. Also, we open the church here in Bluffton City, yes, and with our like pastor Maxim, we opened the new church, and also praying for like spreading our ministry and growing our church.
и мы видим, как Бог работает, потому что к нам приходят неверующие
We see
люди,
how
и
God
мы
is moving.
проповедуем им о
So
Христе.
many unbelievers come to our church, and we have opportunity to share the gospel with them. Ukrainian families which that came to this city, also they come to our church.
All right. So, to wrap up our interview, is there anything that you would like to tell our church people that we haven't talked about so far?
Мы хотели бы их поблагодарить за то, что они открыты нам, что они нам
So
помогают.
we want to gratitude our church members. So all the work they have done for us, all the work they are doing for us, we are so appreciate. I also want to say thanks to all the families which is helping us. God bless you. Let God reveal all your needs.
Thank you very much. We appreciate and love you guys very much. All right. Benjamin, I'd just like to ask you a few questions about your situation in the Ukraine. The American news has really stopped covering the war, and I think that many of us don't even know what's going on over there right now. Can you tell us where you're living and what your situation is?
The war is going on, and right now I'm very close to Dnipro. So the Dnipro is the biggest city with like many refugees here in Ukraine, around like 100 miles from the front line. The front is not moving very fast because of the winter. It's cold. So many people still dying. Many my friends still fighting. Many people going to the army, and the war is going on. And also Russia is still attacking the cities, the civilians. They doing like evil things, not toward the military, but toward the citizens. They are like launching the rockets to big cities such like Kiev. They're trying to bombing electricity plants. So there is like a blackout in many cities. The city where I am, so Dnipro had a blackout for 4 days. I just came today to Dnipro, and they said we didn't have electricity for 4 days. So it's horrible. Yeah. So many people are still suffering, and we don't have too much electricity in the houses. Like for 3-4 hours in a day, have electricity in many like cities. So this is the reason people like connect with war, because of the rockets Russia launched towards Ukraine. We don't upset. We trust God. We understand that God will lead us through all of this.
Thanks for sharing that, and also for sharing your faith. How do you know Slavic and Katya?
Slavic, the man who led me to Christ too. He's a good guy. He when the first war started in 2014, the Russia invaded first to Ukraine. Slavic led me to the church. He invited me. Do you remember he told about the young people? So he started to serve young people. So I was one of them whom Slavic invited to the youth group. So since that, and then I started to go to church. Yeah, since that time, I'm a believer.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, our prayers are with you, and keep the faith. And thank you for spreading the word of Jesus, and thanks for interpreting today.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie, for supporting Slavic and Katya and other people. You're God's nation. We pray for you too.
Thank you.